all right, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Federico Hernández, and welcome to Xavi and the Rum Lab channel. Here we are with Bryan and the one and only the Rum Champion.
What's
How you
going
doing,
on?
Bryan?
I'm doing well, Fede. How are you? It's great to be here. I'm excited. I'm excited for Puerto Rico.
Exactly. Yes. So really quickly, everybody, we have this presentations what I learned while visiting Puerto Rico with the Rum Champion. We had the opportunity to be in Puerto Rico for the National Rum Festival called Taste of Rum, where Bryan visited us. And he's like, "Hey, Faye, I'm going to the Rum Festival." I'm like, "Oh, this is a great opportunity to visit as many distilleries as we could." Uh, so I took one day in particular from all the days that Bryan came to Puerto Rico. Said, like, let's try to visit as many distilleries as possible. I picked him up on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, at 11 p.m. at the airport. When he arrived, I'm like, we're gonna go to Ponce. We'll spend the night there, and then we'll just drive to go directly to distilleries and start all the entire entertainment program.
Yep.
So this is what we're gonna see, right? And before anything, Bryan, I want you to tell the audience how was your experience of being picked up in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, got in, as you say, Fede, at 11 o'clock at night. It was very interesting because, first of all, thank you and shout out to you driving. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the terrain of Puerto Rico, San Juan is in the north and Ponce is in the south. So Fede was ready to go, getting off the plane, going, "I'm here, let's go to Ponce." And it was about an hour and a half, 45-minute drive, but had to stop, had to get some gas. But then also, more importantly, we got these little packets of Palo Viejo. And if you don't know, Palo Viejo is a rum that is also distilled at Serrayes, who also makes Don Q. And for all of the Americans tuning in, it's basically like an adult Capri Sun. So I was having the nostalgia of having a Capri Sun packet while also having a delicious rum beverage, which was amazing. So that was cool. Then we actually drove through the mountains. Everything was dark, but you could definitely understand the terrain and the hills and everything like that. When we got to Ponce, though, so I live in LA, and there's almost always noise in Los Angeles because it's a big city. When we got to Ponce, got out of the car, going into the Airbnb, and it was so. I mean, it was kind of the thing of where if you cleared your throat, it would echo throughout the city, and you'd almost hear somebody waking up going, "Shut up!" or "Cállate," like shh. So. But I mean, even at nighttime, I could tell just the vibrant beauty of the architecture and the color of the buildings. Anyways, crashed, woke up early in the morning to a beautiful sunny day, got some amazing breakfast at what used to be a Burger King, but was converted into a delicious breakfast spot. I cannot remember the name of it. And then on our way to Serrayes, when we actually were driving by the building that said Distillería Serrayes, so Serrayes Distillery in English, for those of you who don't know, pretty self-explanatory. That's when it started hitting me going, "Oh, wow. This is hitting me now that we're here. We're here." And for me, it was especially a treat to go visit Serrayes because I've got on my Instagram page, Don Q actually sent me 6 bottles, including this Zinfandel cask. So to actually be there was walking around like a kid in a candy store going, "Oh my God, this is so cool. This is so cool. This is so cool." So that was the experience getting down to Ponce.
All right, so let's start. Let's. You already explained about the building. Let's show the building here.
Yeah.
And then this is the outside of the this is their headquarters, right? That has been there for decades already. You can see their logo, how it was authentic or not authentic, or the original, right? And actually, when Bryan was there, they just remodeled most of the offices. I've been going there for a couple of years, and I've been seeing the transition. So now Bryan was able to see a beautiful lobby with all the displays of all the bottles that they do, from Don Q, Palo Viejo, Ron Llave, Ron Granado, Caliche rum, right? That are different rums that are made in the distillery.
Yep. Oh man, it was awesome. It was so cool.
that day we had, and sorry, Brian, I was also like that day we were on a mission to visit as many distilleries as possible. So we told everybody, hey, we'll be here. We have an hour. Let's try to do the best we can. And so we're gonna jump into different phases of the different distilleries that we saw, right? And some we took videos, some that we just took pictures.
Yep. Oh man, let's get into it. It was cool. So the one thing I want to call it before Fede is it was an absolute treat. When we got in, we were taken into this almost looking like a boardroom, and we were given a brief presentation by none other than Lisa Cordero, who is their current master blender. And oh man, it was a treat. Having at least been able to go give her a big hug saying, oh my God, your rum is incredible. And then trying to not fanboy. That was mostly me in Puerto Rico and Fede going, be cool, man. I'm like, I'm trying to be cool. I can't. So anyway, sorry, Fede.
No, absolutely. And then here we go, and we're gonna start seeing Lisa Cordero. And then we're walking into one of the many warehouses, aging warehouses they have, but this one is called Almacén number 20, right?
Yeah. And one of the things that I actually learned is that when you actually visit these distilleries, you think that, oh, they must be temperature controlled and that there's air conditioning. But nope. The distilleries we went to, they were actually sealed. And part of the humidity is part of just the overall climate is part of their process for making rum. So that was a big lesson. And then walking into this for the first time, and the first time and every other time of every other place we went to, just walking in and getting a nice, just the smell of the rum aging in the barrels, interacting with the barrels was nothing short of remarkable.
Yes. And then and indeed this was the first time you visited a distillery, right?
Yep.
And then you chose a great place to visit distilleries, right? And
sure.
and what we're seeing right now here in this particular picture, that we see the barrels laying resting, and these are piponas, ex-sherry barrels from Spain. This is where Serrayes, or this warehouse, is where they use for experimentals, different experiments. And what we're seeing there are the barrels that they use for their Solera system. It's not all the massive amount of warehouse that they have them all stacked up for the traditional aging process. But what we're going in right now is the experimental warehouse, where they have, this is where Brian just mentioned it, right? And you can show that bottle, Brian. You have the different cask strength. You have that one there. You have one in the back too.
Let's see. I don't know if I have any of the cask strength ones with me.
Next to this alcohol.
Which one? This one? Oh, we're just talking about the different kinds. So we've got cognac double cask. We've got a Zinfandel. They also have port. There's a sherry one that I have somewhere down here. This is a new bar setup for me because I just moved. So I'm like, wait, where is everything? But really, like, that's when you start getting a sense of all of them were listed out. So one of them was like an Old Tawny port. This one said cognac. That one said sherry from Hernández. And so it was just really neat to go through. Everything was lined up in its different rows and columns. And with each row you'd walk by, you'd get a little different smell because you could smell a little influence of the other spirit that the rum was interacting with in the barrels there. So it was so neat.
So once inside the warehouse, right? As we're seeing the video, right? Mm-hmm. And then right inside of here, I think they're about to give us bottles of water. Mm-hmm. Once it's super hot, and luckily we started at like 9:30 sharp. We're already there, and this could have been right now like 10:30. And yes, as you were mentioning, the warehouse were sealed, but there is there are windows, Brian. That there is ventilation, but it's not room controlled.
Right. There's no like air conditioning. Right.
Exactly. All right, and then so we couldn't record moving in. But then once we got to the other corner, they opened up the gate and they were allow us to do some more filming because this is what they showed us.
See? Oh yeah. So just for some context of what's going on here. So we walk to the other side, and there's this table that's adorned with all of these bottles of rum, with all of these little tasters and everything. And basically, Lisa Cordero, who is, again, their master blender, knows what she's doing to the nines, basically goes, all right, guys, so you've seen how we do things a little bit. Now you're going to do a rum blend. Each of you are going to do a rum blend, and I'm going to try it. And the coolest thing is the humility of, oh, well, you could show me something that I haven't necessarily thought of. So we're looking for always fresh and new ideas, which was really cool to hear. And the fresh new ideas lead to results like this, right? The cognac aged. So we go through, and with all these little beakers that you can see here, they had a bunch of different rums, and they were based off of different aging properties. If they had been aged in a single column still for some more heavier characteristics, or a multi-column still for some more lighter characteristics. And outside of that, we were just given beakers, test tubes, and it felt like we were back in chemistry class, just tinkering. So Fede, you went first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and then I did my blend. I'm here like, oh, you're Mr. Connoisseur. I know exactly what I'm doing. And then and then we taste it. Everybody's like, oh, this is great. This is marvelous. I'm like, yeah, Brian, it's your turn. It's your turn. Good luck being better than the rum. Now I was there, the rum champion. I was there. Ah, my God.
I'm grateful though that you went first, because it gave me an idea. And one of the things is they had one of the heaviest ages, and you were thinking, oh, this is the oldest and it's the heaviest body. So of course I'm going to want to lean heavily into doing it this way. But right as I was about to do that, Lisa kind of nudged me and said, only use a little bit. And I went, okay. So then I just started kind of trying to figure out, really just flying by the seat of my pants, what was going to work, put it together. And then Lisa was the first one who tried it, put it in her little taster. One of the things I learned in Puerto Rico was that when you're tasting, you want to cover while you're swirling to preserve the aromas of the rum. So Lisa's going like this. Then she goes, taste it. And she goes, delicious, butterscotch, caramel, and starts listing all these things. And then I looked at Fede and I was like, yeah, that's better. What are you going to do about it?
And we were super lucky that here they showed us, it's like, okay, we have another treat. And this is actually why I stopped the video here. Let me see. No. There we go. We stopped the video here because you see there's this bottle, small bottle, right? Like a neca. And that is rum that came directly from the barrel. And I'll show you guys here. But here they're looking for the different barrels to see which one has rum. These are all 13-year-old age rums.
Yep. And these are cask strength, which is a bit rare, at least in my experience, for the Latin style rums that I've tried, Puerto Rico especially. Most of them are bottled at 40% ABV or thereabouts, whereas this, coming right out of the cask, is much higher. So this was probably anywhere between 60 to 65% alcohol, which was a little bit more than what you'd be expecting if you were thinking about, oh, Puerto Rican rum is super light and refreshing. This had a lot of flavor and taste to it.
Well, and that was part of the whole entire experiment too, that they were giving us the opportunity to try different styles of rum, from very so Serrayes uses two. They have a continuous column still, right? And then they have basically an older copper still, and that's where they get the heavier rums from. And some of the rums are they blend them, they do different process depending on what type of expression you're purchasing. And then so that was part of the experiment, and then that we see it again here at the end, and that was part of our little demo or lab that we had at Serrayes.
Yeah, and Fede, I do have a video if you want me to show it. It's me tasting without the actual blending or diluting. I actually did a tasting, or I think you recorded it. Do you want me to show that, or I don't know?
Yeah. Let's put it.
Okay, hang on. Let me think. Let me see. Video file. Where's this one? Okay, cool. Saying open. I think it should just start playing.
There you go.
What's going on, everybody?
Rum champion here at Serrayes Distillery in Ponce, Puerto Rico with Lisa Cordero.
Hi.
Now, Lisa is the mastermind behind all of these barrels that we see here. Let's go look. Now come back to me. Now, we just tapped into a barrel, cask strength. This is, ¿cómo se dice 13 in español? 13 años, cask strength. Oh yeah, salud.
Salud.
And then just watch Lisa's face though, just like watching and just the satisfaction. I know this is good. Oh my God, this is delicious. Don Q is the best.
Interesting balance. Beautiful.
Balanced, butterscotchy, lovely.
Sweet, long lasting. Exquisite.
Exquisite. Excepcional.
Excepcional. Marvelous. Wonderful.
Stupenda. Yeah, so I mean, that was just a really cool experience to do that with Lisa, who I had really come to admire just from afar with, again, the bottles that were sent to me, but then hearing her talk with the passion and everything, you know, just her saying like, all of this is really near and dear to my heart, really endeared me to her, and especially tasting it, having that moment with her was a really special moment for me. So Lisa, if you're watching this, you're amazing. I hope to see you again soon.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm not Lisa, but yes, Lisa. All right. Now, from Ponce, which is in the south, it was an hour and 45 minutes approximately. We were heading back north, right? And we went to Sidra, which is almost in the middle of Puerto Rico, where there's Club Caribe, which is another distillery. And it's a pretty brand new distillery. And so it's really cool to see what they're doing. Most of their staff actually are ex-Bacardi employees. They had retired, and then Alberto de la Cruz and all the Club Caribe team brought them on board. So what we saw was phenomenal. Okay, and then I'm going to show here. All right. So here we are at the outside part of the distillery where we are seeing there are 4 columns still. There are 5 columns still processed, but we're seeing 4. The first process actually starts in Florida. And that's where they get all their molasses. That's where they do their aguardiente, basically. And then depending on the rum, but the ones that are coming back to Puerto Rico, they come back actually in this massive tanks that we're seeing here. They are brought in and then distilled at the distillery, right? And this is part of the process for being a proper Puerto Rican rum. One of the ways, as long ideally you distill the rum in Puerto Rico, as time has come and things have changed, rules have changed too. But here, Club Caribe, which is great, they do their finishing touch in Puerto Rico. They pass that aguardiente through a 4-column still process, and they also have another copper still.
Yeah, Fede, I have the video. So one thing that I didn't realize, so in the rum world, Coroni is kind of seen as, oh my God, these are Coroni rums. You can't get these. So the distillery shut down years ago, but Club Caribe actually has one of the pots, I think the Vendome pot, if I'm saying that correctly, if I'm not, sorry for the ignorance, but one of the copper pot stills that is massive. And then Fede and I actually were able to go get a video right in front of that. So it should be.
But wait, before we show, let's. I'm gonna keep on showing some really quickly process of like.
Yeah, of course. Sorry,
we have the stills. We see the tanks where the rum is brought in, or actually brought out too, because they also do sell bulk rum. That qualifies as Puerto Rican rum. This is a picture of the outside of 2 of their aging warehouses. As you go in, you can see Judith, who met us there, and she was phenomenal, and she has so much energy. But here we see a barrel, right? This is a barrel that was done when it was tested, but 2014, right? December 18th, 2014, barrel number 22. And then we go into the laboratory, and this is what they had already. So we were super lucky, in my opinion. They already had 4 bottles of, and this are from the columns, the continuous column stills, 2014 rum, same batch. And they had just they were just doing some tests right there, so we're able to test them. And in addition to that, we asked Judith, hey, can you bring in some rum from any year from the copper still? And she made it happen.
Oh man,
we
every 5 seconds it was try this, drink this, do that, do that. And we're like, oh, somebody's got to drive.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna bring those bottles here. You should have them.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of constructing my bar. They're around here somewhere, but yeah, those are. And so that is a pot still. There, she gave us 70, 140 proof column still and pot still, and Fede's got both of them. Looks like you've been sipping on the column one there, Fede. Right before the live stream. Kidding.
Yeah, it was super fun. And then from there we went to the rest of the distillery. So this distillery is massive, because not only they age rum, it's also they are a water they're a water company that they do different brand private labels, but it's called Nikini, the name of the company. They also, it's a canning company for Coca-Cola. But part of then you go to the other part, which is an art museum, and you go back to the distillery. And then when you're going outside of the distillery, they have this miniature copper still.
Oh yeah, the pot still. Yeah.
Right? A pot still. It's like a copper pot still that they had miniature, that they actually do use them to do some experiments here and there. That's exactly what I would love, Bryan, for you to give me as a present for Christmas, if you can.
All right, I'm on it. I'll just call Club Caribe and I'll call Judith and be like, hey, Judith, you know that pot still? How much? How much?
But then this is the video that we're going to show you right now.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? It is the Rum Champion. We are at Club Caribe with Fede
Hernández. What's up, man?
And behind us, we have a massive pot still from...
Chef, I got it. I took the picture. It's important. Oh, okay. Oh, no. I forgot. Okay. And behind us, we have a pot still, right?
Pot still.
It's a Chauvignac.
Chauvignac rum.
So it used to be, this actually pot stills were at the Peroni facility, where Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy in Trinidad and Tobago were doing 10 cane rum. That distillery basically got closed down, and Alberto de la Cruz and Jose Pepe, 2 good friends, bought out the inventory. Alberto de la Cruz bought it for Club Caribe here, and then for those who know about San Juan Artisan Distilleries, they also have 2 pot stills over there.
So that was really neat. And yeah, Fede, I mean, you can't, what do you mean you can't be trilingual on the spot? And both of us, just so you know, right before we recorded that video, Fede and I read I can't even remember the name of it now, the French pot still. We read it 3 times. And then of course, when it came to recording, we were like, Fede, why don't you tell me what it's called?
You know, okay, let's talk about, let's be serious about this. We came from Bacardi. We already had some tastings. We drove 45 minutes. Of course, we're not tipsy there, but come on, there's a side effect in your body. Then we go to the laboratory of Club Caribe, and Judith is like, you got to try this, try that, try this, try that. And then all cast strength as well. And from the pot still or the column still. And there's a lot of information. Plus, I have ADD. It's okay. That's it. That's where I'll go down to. That's where I'll go down to. And then, so at the same time, they, which is super interesting, they have, and I'm going to show here in the, oh, I do have it already here. in the pictures, they
Mhm.
have a warehouse, right? It was Club Caribe Distillery, Almacén Adeudado, number 3. They have 132 barrels here. And then this is for the Solera process. But what's interesting about the Solera process is that this they're made from directly from aguardiente, which is from the rum that comes from Florida distillers. So it's not this one in particular that we were seeing here was they're not being it didn't go through the other 4 column stills. And the rum was really good, but it was, and in my opinion, why do I think this is super interesting is that in Puerto Rico, rum was not called rum before. It was originally called aguardiente. That was the rum, the way rum was called in Puerto Rico for years. It eventually evolved to
Mhm.
aguardiente, to rum, and aguardiente is not consumed in Puerto Rico anymore, which is super interesting. And that
If
actually, I am on a mission to promote that.
No, I love that. And quick question for you, Fede. So, ¿qué significa aguardiente in inglés? What does it translate?
Aguardiente is like it's moonshine, in
Yeah.
other words.
Yep.
That's
I
how
love
that to my understanding, right?
Mhm.
And but the Bacardi actually uses a process of aguardiente and to in their blend, and that's why it's a little bit it's a stronger rum, and then 2 other Puerto Rican rums that are smoother and softer, right? So
Mhm.
everybody has their style. To say we all like. Sometimes we like French toast. Sometimes we like pancakes. Sometimes we like salty scrambled eggs. So
Yep.
you want to have something an alternative for every single day.
Yeah.
Um,
And even so, Fede, just the last thing to piggyback on that. So that's one of the other big things I learned from Puerto Rico. Going there, I had a lot of Bacardi Superior or Don Q Cristal or, like a gold Puerto Rican rum, lighter in body. So going into Puerto Rico, yes, I had a little bit of a sampling of the Don Q and the Serrayes. Like, wow, these are really flavorful. But when you get to the island and even just the difference from Serrayes to Club Caribe was massively different. And then everything that where else we went. So like Bacardi, for example, everybody has their own different style. So the unique other thing in the world of rum, and even if you look just at Puerto Rico, everybody's styles are different. And so there really isn't competition. And even being at Bacardi, and talking to Don Q and everybody, they're like, we don't really see each other as competition. We see each other as rivals that are constantly pushing each other to be better, which is a bit unique because here, at least where I live in LA, everybody's like, I'm the competition. I have to win at all costs. And so in Puerto Rico, it's very much rivalry specific. And how can we push everybody else to be, the rising tide that raises all boats? So yeah, it was amazing. And then next up, we're on the next trip. Yeah.
yeah, actually, and from there we literally went to uh, Barrilito, right? We were trying to go to San Juan Artisan Distillery, which was like another 40 because now we're going almost to the coast of Puerto Rico. So we went from the south coast to the middle, right, of Puerto Rico, where all the mountains are and the lake and many lakes and everything was just lush and green. Now we're going to the northern coast. Our idea was to visit San Juan Artisan Distillery, but we were not making out time. And luckily, Hacienda Santa Ana, where they made Ron del Barrilito, was open, and they were able to greet us. From there,
So cool.
we have a couple videos. Here is.
You like?
Here's Bryan. The first thing Bryan wanted was a cocktail. So he's trying to overanalyze how to order a cocktail at Ron del Barrilito.
Oh man, and I can remember what I got too. So Jorge, he's awesome. He made me a couple of really good drinks. Started with the cigar old fashioned with Barrilito 3-star, which the 3-star, by the way, I know we'll probably get into it, but it's so diverse. And going to Puerto Rico and seeing all the things that you can do with it. The biggest thing, Fede, that I've been telling everybody that will listen to me on the way back when I got back to LA was coconut water ice cubes. I remember you telling me this, going, what? It's so simple. Why have I never thought about this? And that exact kind of giddy schoolboy mentality. And that's one thing that they actually made here. And one of the things, super simple, coconut water ice cubes and Barrilito 3-star. But for this one, I got the old-fashioned cigar old-fashioned. So you go to Barrilito, there's no bad drinks, but make sure you get the one with the coconut water ice cubes, or just make them at home and thank Puerto Rico when you're doing it.
All right. So here's then from there, from ordering our cocktail, we started the tour. And then this is actually really interesting. The La Hacienda, or the house, the original house, was being lived until Fernando Fernandez was there, and until he passed away recently. And then now part of the house is a distillery. It's part of the museum.
Yeah.
So here we're gonna.
Step up.
Oh, and then the older gentleman with the beard and the gray hair, that was the founder, Pedro Hernández, way back in the day. And just quick thing about Barrilito, Pedro Fernandez went to France to study engineering, loved cognac, wanted to come back to Puerto Rico, make cognac, but there wasn't enough grapes at scale, so he decided to take the same process of distilling cognac, but using sugarcane juice, and hence Barrilito 3-star. And he loved it so much that I wish I was alive, because I would just go hang out with him, because he'd have his little barrel, or barrilito, where the name comes from, give somebody a glass, and then people would eventually start going back. And then it was realized that, oh, I should probably do this a little bit more at scale. And I think, Fede, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Barrilito is the oldest rum producer on the island as far as continuously in production. I think, I'm not sure.
So they were one of the first companies in Puerto Rico to actually the Queen and King Fernando. They gave them the land for sugar as a sugarcane plantation, and later it was around, I think that most of the distilleries opened around the same time. They had the land before than everybody else, because it was bestowed to them. But the distillery process, actually, they were not necessarily one of the first. It all happens at one. But I can certainly verify and confirm.
Okay. Also, shout out to Mario, who was our point of contact, the brand ambassador down there, who also invited Fede out there. He was our tour guide as well, super knowledgeable.
Well, that's where we're gonna go now. So these are other videos that we see of. So.
¿Está bien? 69.60.
Oh my God! So yeah, this was so cool. So when you actually purchase, or when you get a bottle of Ron del Barrilito 4-star, they give you the option. You can buy it as is, or they'll let you bottle it. And so this is actually how they bottle this specifically. I always thought that it was going to be more of like a more mechanized machine process, but this was an amazing experience for me. So Mario was dealing with my, again, giddy schoolboy. Oh, this is amazing. But what he's doing is explaining how to actually do things. They give you this cylindrical tube, if you will, that you have to drop into the barrel. It grabs a bunch of liquid, and then you start filling up your bottle with a funnel. You rinse and repeat that a few times. You hear the doom. Okay. I didn't want to just drop it in. Again, I mean, it's a barrel. It's going to be durable, but yeah. So this was an amazing experience. So you rinse and repeat that a few times. And the whole time I'm so nervous going, oh God, I can't drop this, because this rum on the market price is $300, and it is a difference you can taste, believe me. But this was an amazing experience. And then you hear, which is crazy. So every single bottle that they do, they actually fill it by hand. Well, fun fact, I didn't really ever learn or think about how rum was bottled. Again, everybody does things differently, but now I know, and that's why this bottle for me is very near and dear to my heart, because I bottled it. And then I think we have one more video, Fede, where actually, not only do you bottle it, but then if you've noticed, there's some black seal on this, or black wax. So you actually get to coat it, wax it, and then, yep, there you go. Again, so nervous.
Dip it in the wax until it hits the bottom. Well, about until it covers the cork. Okay. Once it covers the cork, bring it out, let it drip for a few seconds, and then 3 times. Okay. When you bring it out the third time,
I always think Fede too. You look on the wall, somebody was a little bit too excited and got wax on the wall.
this is so fucking cool.
Oh, sorry, earmuffs. Earmuffs.
So we got your way again. Oh, you. Okay. Garnett, you need to do this. Okay.
Oh yeah, and everybody that was coming into the gift shop, I'm like, you need a bottle of this. You have to do this. This is an experience.
So it covers the cork. Keep going.
And then you have to basically dip it down 3 times, and then they give you a seal that you totally like the old school movies where you see somebody writing with the feather pen, you know, and the quill, and then they fold it up, and it was just really cool. I've sealed something now, which is why Fede, when you come to LA, I will open this bottle. It's going to stay sealed in its little cylinder. When I see you for the LA Rum Fest, shout out LA Rum Fest in September, we'll pop it open. Concentration is key.
You got your new baby now.
Oh my God. And yeah, an amazing experience for sure. Exactly. I mean, and it's so nerve-wracking because you're like, I can't mess this up. If I do it, do I have to start all over again? Like,
Yeah, you put the seal. I love it. And then so here's actually a quick image of La Hacienda, part of it outside. You see, I can make it look bigger.
there you go.
Right. So here, this is the original windmill that they had as a crushing mill. Back here are the warehouses and more warehouses back there. This is the cooperage restoration area. This actually is building here that I'm pointing right here. This used to be that cooperage warehouse before, or the facility, and they remodeled it and made into the visitor center where Bryan was ordering his rum.
Yes.
Very important. Very important. All right. So those are the 3 distilleries that we visited that day. And there's more. Actually, we did visit Bacardi. We did visit San Juan Artesian. Bryan visited San Juan Artesian Distillery, and so we're just gonna jump. And that was mission 1. After that, I think we did more things that day. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
I have a video of you dancing somewhere. We went to the Scryer Bar in Old San Juan, and then we went to where else are we? We went to Casa Rones, I think, right on the water there too.
Yes, like La Casita de Rones de Puerto Rico. Yeah. And then we went to actually a 4th distillery, which is Scryer's Rum Distillery.
Yeah, shout out to Ivan. Ivan es el hombre. I miss you, Ivan.
And then, did you film anything at Scryer's Rum?
I'm looking through right now to see. I think we did a couple of things. That was, I think, I have.
But I can jump directly to another video, which is our experience at Bissen Bacardi.
Yeah, I do have one that I can share if you wanted to see just really quickly. San Juan Artisanal Distillers. And San Juan Artisanal Distillers, they actually do Ron Pepon, which actually, according to Ultimate Awards, won the best unaged or aged 1 to 3 year rum.
1 to 3, yep.
So let me go ahead and we'll just see a very quick little blurb working with Monica, who gave us a tour guide. The interesting
thing I have that video.
Oh, this one. Oh, did I send it to you?
The one that you guys are in the grass field.
Oh, so no, that's one. This is a different one. Let me throw it up there. So really quick, guys, the difference that you need to know is San Juan Artisanal Distilleries, they do Tres Clavos, which I have that bottle right here. This is actually in collaboration with Dominican Republic, but they do sugarcane juice distillation. Just knocking stuff over on my bar. So sorry. But sugarcane juice.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Rum Champion. We are at San Juan Artisan Distillery with Monica.
Hi, so my name is Monica, events coordinator here at San Juan Artisan and tour guide. And today we'll be seeing all of our terrain here. So we have 7 acres of sugarcane here in Vega Alta. We have a mill where we process all of the sugarcane, we extract the juice, men distill and bottle directly in the state.
Awesome. And we are with Garnett, the Rum Girl, and KW, the star tender of the Rogers Garters.
New York came to Puerto Rico with us as well. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place. 7 acres. They do everything in-house. Sugarcane juice distillate, which again, cannot emphasize the difference of San Juan artisanal distillers is vastly different than Barralito. And that's different from everything else. This is in the actual cane fields as well.
Exactly. They're in the cane field because harvesting season is already fun. I think they already started cutting some of the fields.
Yep. It's in full swing. So it was really, really cool to go over there and see them and get an understanding of what they're doing. The other thing that they do have as well, Fede, is they do a number of infused flavored rums. And I know I'm featuring everything right now, but this, tres clavos, and then in Espanol, jengibre, ginger spice. So you can actually see in the back here that they infuse and they place by hand ginger, or they have passion fruit, parcha, which I have a tiny little one of these guys as well. So tres clavos, and
that parcha is delicious.
Oh my God, so good, especially like infused. Like, and Fede can attest. I was like, Fede, I'm not a big flavored rum guy, but you know what? If it's infused and it sits in the bottle, oh man, delicious. And then from there, then we synced up with you, Fede, and then we went to Casa Bacardi, and that
exactly. Okay, so here we go. This is so let me let me see if I have another video that I want to share. Okay, so when you go to Casa Bacardi, of course you first go to the visitor center, right? I'm gonna share. I'm looking for desktop. It's downloads. Okay.
And then mi novia gets so mad because I go there and I'm like, Bridget, it's okay.
And this is where we started drinking the dangerous old Cuban. And it just went all day long, all the activity. But look at that beautiful facility, that building right there. Actually, the roof, the architect had, if you see it from far away, it's supposed to imitate a bat. The view from over there, we can see almost the water, but out the other side is all San Juan, the old town, old San Juan. And of course, there's Bryan over there asking for a rum cocktail.
Oh yeah, where's the rum? I know it's there. Give me that. I think El Cuban said the ocho años, which I will say this, Fede, and I know you and I've talked about this. So a lot of Americans look at Bacardi and say, not really a fan of their rum. And going to Casa Bacardi was an experience that really changed my mind completely about them, because Superior, yes, it's light in body. It's kind of like Don Q Cristal. But meeting with Bacardi, seeing the financial investments that they make into it and the genuine care of everything they do. Their Ocho Años is fantastic. Their Diaz is amazing. And then meeting their former global master distiller, Jose Gomez, and Troy, who is their current global master blenders, was absolutely a treat. And so I left a huge fan of Bacardi for so many reasons. One, because the premium rums that they do have are out of this world amazing, and something that I will encourage many Americans to actually try the Ocho Años, Diez Años. They also have a sherry cask and a rye cask finish. So for the people out there that try this going, oh my God, this is amazing, don't sleep on Bacardi, because they're fantastic. And then even if you're still entrenched in your preconceived notions, that's fine. But at the very least, you cannot doubt, and it's nothing short of remarkable, that the rum producer that they are, manufacturing and producing 90% of the world's rum, and no matter where you are in the world, whether you're in Iceland, South Africa, Antarctica, or the North Pole with Santa Claus, that glass of Bacardi is going to taste the same. And you have to, at a very base level, respect that, because that is not easy to do. So I was amazed and blown away by everything that Bacardi was doing. Christian, who is the Rum Islander on Instagram, be sure to check him out. Noidis, who taught me all about their cocktail El Mismo. Oh my God, it was just amazing. Amazing experience. Now,
so the largest rum distillery in the world, Casa Bacardi, Puerto Rico. My name is Christian once again. I'm the brand home ambassador of this beautiful distillery. It's my pleasure to be able to... And so the largest rum distillery in the world, Casa Bacardi, Puerto Rico. My name is Christian once again. I'm the brand home ambassador of this beautiful distillery. It's my pleasure to be able to...
Yeah, it was awesome. And then from there, I want to show you some pictures that I do have. So number one is, wait, I got two pictures here that I want to share.
Oh yeah, while you're pulling those up, Fede, the other thing that's a really interesting fun fact about Casa Bacardi is they have 160-year-old yeast, and it's locked away in this incredibly highly secure room. Now, I think that Christian was saying, Fede, that there's maybe only one of like 5 people who can have access to that room, so that when a strand of the yeast that is continuously living and everything like that has to be transported, it's actually with a briefcase, like you see in the movies, handcuffed to somebody on a briefcase with a security detail and taken to another location, whether I think they have a distillery in Mexico and then one in India as well. And so it's a very secure process, because if that yeast is tampered with or tainted, then it messes with 90% of the world's rum production, which is intense for sure.
Okay.
And Fede, you the video perfectly stilled on that wonderful smile of yours. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Okay, here we go. All right, so so in this here in this picture I'm going to show right now is present, share screen, window. All right, so here we got Bryan at the warehouse, right? But this is actually, it's a massive warehouse. These warehouses are humongous, and so I wanted to show this picture really quickly. And I love this picture that you took, Bryan. But you can share your experience, the smell that you go once you get in there, right? It's so intense.
Yeah. Again, the doors open, the front door of the facility open, and you go in, and it's as big as a football field for all the Americans, just to give you a size of it. And it's just huge. And so as we're going, we go all the way to the end. And then you start getting a little lightheaded when you're getting towards the end, going, what's going on? And it's pretty crazy. Just the smells and everything, just that, oh man, this is incredible. So we actually went all the way down, looked at all of the different barrels, and then each one is according to design. So my question was, how do you guys keep track of all of these? Because it can't be easy, but there's actually a pretty intense system with barcodes and everything like that they have in place. And then when we came to the front, we were actually able to taste a few cask strength Bacardis. So I had their sherry cask finish at cask strength, which was remarkable. So this was really cool for them to lay out and get you an understanding of the different types of rums that they had. So Fede, yeah, take it away. What are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at two things. In the back, we're seeing all these little small barrels with their own llave. This was actually a program that Joe Gomez, the previous master distiller, requested. Supposedly, this is what we were told. And he will go constantly, and then different barrels were being dumped into the smaller barrels. And then there was a way for him to quickly experiment different types of rum and how they were progressing. The bottles that we're seeing right here they're showing us how rum charcoal filtration affects the rum, basically, in a good way or a bad way. But this is basically, they had 3 types of charcoal, and then how would rum get clear or less clear, and how the effects would be depending on what was the goal, right? Mm-hmm. Puerto Rican rums, by law, have to be aged for a minimum of 1 year, so they come out already with color, right? They come out as we standard name is gold rum. Through charcoal filtration, they remove the color of the rum, but they maintain as much flavor as they can. And this is something that's done by Serrayes, Club Caribe, and Bacardi in Puerto Rico. So it was a beautiful experiment. Then here we see the statue, right? And the palm tree. And this is what I wanted to show, the palm tree. The the Bacardi family, as we or many people know, or if you don't know, when they had a palm tree in their distillery in Santiago de Cuba, original distillery, and they said, as long as this palm tree is safe and good, we shall be all right. That tree actually fell, and they had planted a new palm tree in Puerto Rico, which is the one that we're seeing in the back, which is so they start baby is growing little by little, and in the behind, this is the cathedral, la Catedral de Ron de Puerto Rico, that Luis Muñoz Marin inaugurated when Bacardi moved their or opened this distillery in Puerto Rico. And we were able to go inside and see all the fermentation tanks, and see that's the same building that Bryan was mentioning, that's where they have hidden the yeast, right? And it was super fun. It was great. I think probably an extremely VIP tour that we had, thanks to the Bacardi family, especially thanks to all the effort done by the entire group. And you see how everybody there and every single distillery, Puerto Ricans generally are super happy, but everybody at the rum distillers were super happy. And that being said, we have like this great video. Right? And then we have, this is Joe Gomez, Bryan. This is their master distiller in India. I forgot. I apologize. I did forget his name.
I know.
And then we have Troy over here. Let me see.
And Troy is their current global master blender. So
correct. This is Troy right here to the left, who's doing a phenomenal job. And of course, we're not mentioning Noidis Herreras and everybody else in the team.
Noidis was in there. I'm not sure.
You have a picture of everybody that we should share really quickly, which is almost all their master distillers or master blenders in Puerto Rico, India. I'm not sure about Mexico, but this is everybody was there.
Okay.
Almost everybody was there.
Let me see how screen share screen. What happens if I do this? Okay. Want to do a window. And I think, are you seeing it, Fede? The photo?
Let me see. Not yet. Nope.
Interesting. Okay. Go to system. What do you mean it can't capture?
It might be the type of picture that you have. Convert it into a JPEG, and then open it on.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me see if I could do that. Because this is, I've never even heard of this. HEIC. Thanks.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, HEIC is the Apple thing.
Apple. Okay.
High resolution Apple. But regardless, while Bryan figures this out, I have to say, I have to thank Bryan for having this, coming to Puerto Rico, being part of the National Rum Festival Puerto Rico. Actually, I do have a little teaser video that I do want to present, if that's okay. There's a recap of the festival. Let me see if I can share it here.
Of course. Oh yeah, Fede, we didn't even get to like the judging yet, too. Oh man.
All right, here we go. Better upload.
pasándola bien, disfrutando toda la noche, la música en vivo, buenas bebidas, buenos rones.
There you go. There's a quick recap. There's longer videos, but yeah, it was a great experience. It was having so many people travel from different parts of the world and making a good new friend. Bryan was great.
Yeah, no, it was outstanding. I converted it and it's not coming through, Fede. So send
it to me by WhatsApp really quickly. I want to.
Okay. Give me a second. While we do that, I do have a video that we can show because there's one other very, very cool thing that I had the experience of at Bacardi, which I had it. Give me 1 second. Yeah. All right, Fede, when you get a chance to pull that up, it should be coming through in a second.
Yep.
This is something else that's proudly displayed on my new bar on the top shelf, reserved for very rare things. So this is the special reserve that you can only get at Casa Bacardi, and they actually asked if I wanted it engraved, and so on the bottle it says El Campeón de Ron, which translated from Spanish into the English language is the rum champion. And so that was also a very, very cool little thing to leave Bacardi with. So, and also just, yeah, for you, Fede, thanks so much for having me, for actually syncing up with me and being like, hey, yeah, come to Puerto Rico, because it was the experience of a lifetime for so many different things. To understand the different styles of Puerto Rican rum. Las Boricuas are so very generous and kind and open and welcoming, especially if you do try to speak a little Spanish. That goes a long way. But no, it was a treat. The Taste of Rum Festival was great. Anybody that's going to any other Taste of Rum festivals, I will personally be seeing you in New York, in LA, and in San Francisco. So we will see you soon. I am sending this to you now, Fede. So
yeah, actually, there is a comment here that I want to clarify. It says Bacardi produces 90% of the world's rum, and then the statistic can be possibly true. What about Tanduay? So yes, and then Bourbonary, correct. It's like Bacardi in Puerto Rico produces 90 or it's I think 87% of the rum made in Puerto Rico for Bacardi consumed worldwide, right? So, but they also have two different distilleries too. They have one in India and they also have one in Mexico. And they used to have other distilleries too, but the one in Puerto Rico, this is where they have they're putting all their investment. They continue making it into a better facility, and we're extremely happy that that's happening in Puerto Rico as well. But as well, Puerto Rico, Familia Serrayes produces over 10 million gallons of rum that is used for many of those staple rum brands that we consume in the United States, especially spice rums. So there are many spice rums out there, many flavor rums that say Caribbean rum. They don't mention Puerto Rico. They don't even mention just where's it from. But the majority, 10 million gallons of annually or more, are produced in Puerto Rico just by the Familia Serrayes as well. So Puerto Rico indeed is the biggest rum producer in the world. Tanduay, which is the Philippine brand, is the biggest rum brand in volume in the world as of today, and that's part of the comment. And especially thanks to the amount of rum consumed in the Philippines as well. Not only is a phenomenal rum, but I think there are 100 million people that live in the Philippines, which they love to drink their delicious Tanduay rum as well. Mm-hmm. Anyways, thank you very much, Rum Champion. Thank you very much. And yeah, Bacardi Noidi here saying Bacardi Puerto Rico produces almost 90% of the rum Bacardi produced worldwide. Clarify by their one of their master blender apprentice. All right. See you later. Adios. And we end the show with this thank you.